Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone tuning in to today's Automotive Inspire interview. I'm Drew Winter, a principal analyst with the Informa Automotive Group, and I'm here today with Dr. Mei Cai, GM Technical Fellow and the Manager of Energy Storage Materials Group at General Motors. Mei is responsible for technology innovations in advanced energy storage materials for future electric vehicles and has managed multi-million-dollar R&D projects in the development of low-cost and durable vehicle energy storage materials and systems. In 2018, she was named Asian American Engineer of the Year for her contributions in fundamental research and technology development and was the recipient of the prestigious Kettering Award as well. Most recently, Mei was named Technologist of the Year by the 26th Women of Color STEM Conference, which is the top award for the conference. But Mei we saw her in the spotlight first earlier this year when she was she was at CES, and she's known as the woman behind the revolutionary Ultium batteries that feature a design that is more compact and enables battery packs to be as much as 60% more power dense than conventional batteries. Those batteries soon will be powering electric pickup trucks, cars, Hummers, and other GM vehicles with ranges as high as 450 miles. Plus, they will be 40% cheaper and 40% lighter. So let's get started. Mei, when you were growing up, did you ever imagine you would someday announce a world-changing technology with the CEO of General Motors at CES?
Oh, never. So, Drew, first of all, thank you for the introduction and thank you for having me here. So, I was born and raised in China. When I was growing up, I did experience how China slowly opened their door to the West. So initially, we only see domestic car on the street. Most popular one we call a red flag at the time. So when JB started to get into China, we began to see more foreign cars on the street. Initially, it's a Jeep Cherokee. And then we see a lot of the Volkswagen car on the street. By the time I left China in 1991, I had only heard about Buick and Chevy, but I never actually get a chance to see any real GM car on the street. So at the time, I did not have any knowledge about OEM and who are the big players in the field. It is only after moving to US, my husband and I got the first used car, which is a 9-year-old Buick Regal, which already has an 80,000 mile on it. But it drives very smoothly, very comfortable, and we all love big car, and we feel like just driving a boat on the street. So that is actually my first time getting to know all different brand of GM car, and I can actually point them out on the street. So back then, I was just a student. It's impossible for me to imagine someday I could even work for GM in the advanced technology development space, let alone join the CEO of General Motors at CES. So this is really a great experience for me.
So you were in front of thousands of people making that announcement and talking about the battery. And so how big a deal was that for you and your family, you know, when they saw you're suddenly famous?
It is really a big deal, you know, especially from where I started to where I am today. It's a very long journey. So my husband first came to US about 30 years ago, right? Then I joined him later on. We first stopped in Columbus, Ohio. I joined him as a spouse. So in order to get into the graduate school, I have to start learning English and taking the GRE test. It is during the graduate school program, I got this summer internship opportunity from GM. And then later on, joined GM as a full-time employee. Although I'm now working in the advanced technology space for EV application, it is a very big deal for me to join Mary Barra at the CES to make this kind of announcement, right? So my family and then my friend all very proud of me. So the same day the video released in the YouTube, I received many emails and text messages. My husband also working for GM. So right away, he sent a link to his organization And a lot of my friends in government labs, university, as well as the industry partner I used to work with, all send me messages say, hey, Mei, I saw you in the CES. So it's really exciting experience for me.
Wow. Now, did you always want to be a scientist?
Believe it or not, the answer is no. So when I was growing up in China, right, I had many dreams when I was young. First, I want to become a pilot, and then I want to become a novelist. And finally, I locked down the surgeon. I think it's because my mom is a physician in China, and she often brought me to her workplace. So I could actually have a chance to closely watch a doctor treat their patient. And in China, we also call the doctor as a angel in white. So as kids, I think it's very cool. I want to be an angel in white. That's the only thing in my mind. I never even thought about someday I can become a scientist.
Wow. So you spent much of your career in the field of nanocomposite materials in clean energy applications. So what attracted you to this particular area of research?
This is a very interesting question. It's a good question. So looking back now, I think actually take me a very long time to getting into the field of nanocomposite and clean energy, which is what I'm currently working on. I am trained as a chemical engineer, but I always have a big dream of working in the biomedical engineering field to make an artificial organ. So that's a dream for me. Clean energy was never on my list. So what made me completely change my career path actually is the summer intern experience at the GM. So the ironic part is that I was picked for this summer intern position because my extensive knowledge in biochemistry, which I started to prepare myself to getting into the biomedical field. So during the summer at GM, I worked on a project to improve the cabin air quality for the Cadillac brand. So as an intern, I have assigned a mentor to work together with me on the project. My mentor, believe it or not, he is a microbiologist by training. But at the time when I was working for GM as a summer intern, he was also working on the engine casting project. So I just feel that's really amazing because I really do not see any connection between microbiology and metal casting, right? So when I asked him, so he said, and till today I still remember, he said, never mind what is your major is in graduate school. GM can train you into any expert you want to be through the real program, right? So it is the experience of working for GM for two consecutive summer that completely changed my career path. So I later joined GM as a full-time employee and then was put into the hydrogen fuel cell research program because of my chemical engineering training. When I started working for hydrogen fuel cell research program, which actually spanned from electrocatalyst, bipolar plate, and the onboard hydrogen storage, that really opens my eye to what we could accomplish in the nanomaterial and the clean energy research field. So I was completely drawn to that area and stayed for 20 years. I do enjoy what I'm doing today.
Wow, that's an amazing journey. And really, it's really neat that General Motors could provide you with all those different opportunities. And
correct, yeah.
Wow, that's cool. That's cool. So the next big question is: Did anyone ever tell you there were things you couldn't do because you were a woman?
Not really. I really do feel lucky in that regard because I was born and raised in a family where parents give their kids a lot of freedom. My mom is a physician, my dad is a professor, and both of them are very open-minded. I have a younger sister, so there's only two girls in the family, there's no boy, right? So growing up, they always tell us, girl can do anything boy can do, right? Maybe sometimes you can even do better than boys. So that's how we are educated. So in China, my sister and I, actually, we both studied engineering. I studied the chemical engineering, and she studied civil engineering. So I'm actually very grateful for my parents' open mind.
Wow, that's great. That's great. So now the tech field and the auto industry are not known for diversity. Were there women or Asian people at any of the places you worked?
I spent most of my career at GM, so I can only comment my experience at GM.
Yeah.
Other people with maybe a similar background as me, they might have a completely different experience, right? But from my own experience working for GM, I have to say GM really did a nice job in diversity and all inclusive. So throughout my career, I worked with different cross-functional group. And everywhere we can see a lot of women, and not only that, we can see a lot of GM employee with different cultural background. So currently I'm working at R&D, right? R&D in general, as I would say, the women population is a little bit higher as compared to other organizations. So I'm currently managing a team about 20 people. We have like a 50-50 split. So basically 50% are women. And all of them are holding a PhD degree in science and engineering, right? Many of them even have a postdoc experience before joining GM. So I would say actually, in general, it is true in the auto industry, it's still male-dominated field, but I also think it's partly because a lot of women are not aware of the range of opportunity available to them, right, in this field. So most of our women gravitate towards the human resource, marketing, accounting, and communication, right? Few works in the manufacturing and engineering. So I believe maybe we should start increase the women representation in the engineering education program, so we can get more women prepared getting into the field of engineering and technology.
Yeah, that makes sense. And when I first started covering General Motors in 1984, there were the 4 top executives were all named Smith. Four white guys named Smith. And now General Motors, of course, has female CEO, female COO, and I think a female CTO. So that's just in my time. That's been a big change.
Yeah.
So if you could go back in time, what advice would you give to your 18-year-old self about pursuing your dream?
Okay, I will say probably be bold and dream big, but always get prepared. Because I just feel in life, right, opportunity often come and go really quickly. Yeah. So if you do not get yourself prepared, even the opportunity knocking the door, you won't be able to grab that opportunity. So it's very important to always get yourself prepared.
Yeah, that makes sense. What advice, this is a big one I think a lot of people are interested in. What advice can you give parents who want their children to pursue careers in STEM?
Okay, I would say first, set the right expectation and then get themselves well prepared. So parents really has a big influence in the life of their kids, right? Especially when they facing certain choice. In life, we often need to make many choices, right? Can be things like small things, a meal in the restaurant, an outfit for the event, right? And can be big things like a marriage and a career path. When we are young, right, we always have those passion about something which we might not be good at. But we do always have something we are really good at, but we might not even realize. So only the one really close to us and know us the best can point out those to us. I do think we need to balance on these 2 aspects. So using myself as an example, growing up, I always dreamed of becoming a medical doctor, right? So when I facing the choice of choosing the major, going to graduate school, either engineering school or medical school, my mom was the first one actually pointing out to me, maybe you should consider engineering school because I'm good in the math, physics, and the logic thinking, right? And she herself is a physician, so she knows the field really well. So she think I can be a very good engineer. So in a way, I would say my parents pushed me into the engineering field. But looking back now, I do feel sometimes parents can make the best choice for us because they know their kids the best. So myself, I have two sons. Both of them graduated from University of Michigan engineering school. So I actually never pushed them getting into the engineering field. They choose that field by watching what I do for GM. And my husband also working for GM right now. So I guess we must did something right at some time. But my husband and I did provide them some advice when they trying to pick up the major in engineering school. My elder one initially wants to go to nuclear engineering, but he has no clue what is nuclear engineering about. And my husband happened to have a PhD in nuclear engineering. So he tell him all those, what is the nuclear engineering about. So he finally picked electrical engineering. So he's currently working for Raytheon in this missile control system. My younger one just graduated from UFM this summer. He got his degree in the IOE, Industrial and Operational Engineering. And he will be moving to Berkeley, doing the graduate study in development engineering. So looking back, I think both of them are very happy about their the career choice, not career choice, the major choice, the study area in the University of Michigan.
That's terrific. So, and when we spoke earlier, we talked. You mentioned an interesting thing about the nuclear engineering job, which I think is people need to know. That I think you mentioned nuclear engineering sounds really cool, but you wind up working in
the isolated location.
Yeah. Really isolated location.
Yeah. Because we do have, like, you see the national lab location, right? Idaho National Lab, right? Those are the focus on nuclear. And if you're really working on the project, you do really need to work in the isolated location. But is this life you want? You have to really know what you're getting yourself into. So I see a lot of people after they getting into the field that looks very cool on paper, but later on they're not happy about their career choice. We can always let people make mistake and get corrected themselves, but it will take a long time. So I always tell my team and all the younger the engineer in the field as a mentor, I tell them my job is telling you the mistake I made. So make sure you do not make the same mistake as me. I help you speed up to career advancement.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that is so important for people to think about, again, what the lifestyle is like for some of these different careers. Where do they actually take you?
Yes, correct.
Do you, is it a, sort of a comfortable life where you work in an office someplace?
Yeah.
Or are you, out in, the Arctic Circle someplace at a
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting. So, and young people also, they need to look hard at their own strengths. The other thing I'm taking away from this is that you're saying young people need to look hard at their own strengths and weaknesses and talk to people who are doing the jobs now about, whether they can do and whether they would be happy in a specific job.
Correct, because I do feel today's young people, right? A lot of them, it's using my son as an example. I don't think they have a clue what they want to do in life. So when they choose their major, they always look on paper, which one looks cool. So a lot of the university major, if you just look on paper, a lot of them they have a really cool name.
Yeah.
But do you even know what it's about? A lot of people have no clue what it's about. So especially for the kids, you also have to balance what you want to do and what you're good at. That's very, very important.
Wow, that's great advice.
Yeah.
So finish this sentence. This is something I ask all of our interviewees. I said, finish this sentence. I love working in the automotive industry because
I think working for automotive industry can be both challenging and rewarding. Automotive engineer must understand every area of this industry, right? From the look and the feel of the car to the safety and the performance of the car. And with more than 100 years history, the automotive industry is now on the revolutionary path. How we interact with car and how do we power the car is fundamentally changing today, right? So I think it's very exciting for me and other engineers and scientists currently working in this auto industry. Basically, what is possible today is just the beginning of what is possible tomorrow. So it's a very exciting place for us to be.
Wow, yeah, and you're kind of at the center of it right now with these new batteries.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, wow, this has gone very fast. It's been great talking to you. You know, we're running out of time here, but thank you, Mei Cai. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
And I thank everyone else for tuning in. Don't miss our upcoming events. The next Automotive Inspire is Thursday, July 22nd with Olabisi Boyle, VP Product Planning, Mobility Strategy at Hyundai North America. And if you're in Europe, put September 13 through 17 in your diary for Auto Tech Week. It's our European online conference, and registration is open for that now. So again, thanks again to everybody, and we'll see you next month.